So at that stage, our music career was really kind of going somewhere because we were now doing all these productions. We had teamed up with some amazing, so we had kind of broken up. That kind of bass rock posse thing died, and then now we became Uchumi Brothers. That's me and my brother, Uchumi Brothers. So we now became the two of us. We were the dudes. And by the way, for those who may not be aware, that UNIP, Basatewani, Tizafotela Kaunda, and now we're gonna vote for UNIP.
UNIP rap.
Yes, the UNIP rap. We're part of that. Although at that particular video filming, you had Kelvin Sampa, you had Alan Mvula, you had Andre Makulu and his brother Sasha, and there's another guy called Michael. So there's that kind of group. But it's interesting that in that time, we then got to connect with Alec Mugala and then began a program called, well, not began, but continued with Teen Time. It's interesting also to note that Teen Time had been started by Maureen Mkandu and was Flashy Kids. And having a Flashy Kids was been a TiVo. Shikapash. So that is an interesting era because we kind of all met. These are my cool guys. Those are my hip hop dudes. And we had already gone past the breakdance thing because back in the breakdance days you just do burnouts, right? But now we had gone past that, and we never really had disses in Zambia at that time yet. Although people were familiar with what disses are and freestyling, but we never really did that. But my crews would kind of bump into each other in Kawata. So we got into that and began to actually actively work with a number of people at State Lodge. So that's where I met Omat. And Omat later stood out as a producer in the early days. Like this is pre-Joe Chivango, pre-TK Romacide, pre. Omat did the earliest productions for Daddy Zimas, and Daddy Zimas was close with Mainza. But this is way past, but Daddy Zimas I met with Omat at State Lodge. Also worked with almost all the musicians now. This is the time we met the Sakala brothers, became very close to them, worked with Michael Zulu, he used to call himself St. Michael back then, worked with the Amayenge. In fact, Chris Charlie mentored us a lot. We used to use his equipment all the time. So he would actually come in, you're funny! The DX7. So we'd go to visit him at Matero. They used to have a garden where they would practice from as Amayenge there. So we worked very closely with Amayenge. We worked with, and Amayenge was in the picture because they were like the official UNIP band in 91. They got all that equipment because of UNIP for campaigns. Of course, UNIP lost, but they got to keep them. And then, so we worked with all these musicians. Some names elude me right now, and the whole setup at State Lodge was massive. And then, of course, when Kaunda lost, they had to rip and remove all that stuff. And then Danny Sims didn't want to work with the new government. He didn't want to work with the MMD guys. And that's how that finished. But I can tell you, initially the whole studio, they were going to create a little Hollywood in Zambia there. They were going to do movie productions. And one of the first works which was to begin was the Kaunda story. So they had even slated Denzel Washington. And it was huge. So that's the era we found ourselves in. When that went, then we now did Teen Time and worked very closely on Teen Time. That's why I met Chilu Lemba. Chilu became one of our first people that was there in those days. And then we didn't stay long enough because then in 95 we left. So we left just before the Zambia music thing really started to take off. Because that's, the days of MC Wabuino, Avena Joe, that whole group, TK Romacide, TiVo, Alan Mvula, that whole thing. It took off after we left because they started doing their gigs at Northmead by the car park there, just next to the filling station. They started doing their thing there, and that's where that group really took off now and started growing up. So Daddy Zimas, Nasty D, that whole group. And then TK comes and starts doing productions. We work very closely with TK's brother, Kelvin Siandi, who was part of Kula Gogo. But we were very close to the Mwale sisters because for years we were dancers and backup for Mwale sisters. So we went around and keep covering with them.
Find those videos.
I'm telling you. And if you look hard enough, they should be there. It's just that they're very difficult to find these things. So we worked very, very closely with the Mwales, and that's why for me, the Mwales will always hold a very special place in my heart because of the work that we did together. They were a very, very instrumental group that they were like sisters to us. So that's Masaoko Mwale, their cousin Koja Mwale, Mukalimo or Muki Mwale, who is the wife to Ian Urenda. Ian Urenda used to be bass player for a group called the Slick Band, which was run by a man called James. I've forgotten his name. And then there was Peja Mwale. Peja was the youngest of them. So these four were the Mwale sisters. So they did a lot of cabaret in those days. So we would be dancing. We would be dancing guys with the weird outfits. So we did that with them, did a lot of gigs, went around the country doing gigs with them. We didn't go out of the country with them, but in the country. So in 95, in 94 actually, as we were trying to figure out how do we, rap is not popular in Zambia because we really, it was rough. We do all these gigs, We even produced a Kasong. It's a pity where, the problem is when I got saved, I was so radically saved, I gave away all that stuff. I wish I had the foresight to keep the music and stuff, which would then become the valuable proof of testimony today. So I had videos, I had audios, but I gave them all away to the guys at the studio in the UK. But then, in that period, that's when we did a song called Nifuna and Darama. It became quite famous. We were the first guys, this is not a lie, first guys to use vernacular in rap. First guys to do that. So this is like 94. Then in 95, we found ourselves struggling in 94 itself because we realized nobody likes rap. We're not taken seriously. We're thought of as too much jokers. So we said, how do we do this? So we realized, no, we need to become instrumentalists and good ones. So let's do like a jazz thing. So me and my brother actually seriously did it, right? My brother learned the sax, I learned the keyboard, like seriously, like chords, and I really learned how to play that thing properly, jazz, piano, the whole works. So when we got that right, and we always had the way, that's why I always say that when you have a gift, the resources are always short. So we always had people who would have a keyboard that they would give us, and not just normal keyboards. And we said we want professional keyboards. So a professional keyboard is the one without a speaker on it. So anything with a speaker is a joke, it's a toy. So we'd get these big brand name keyboards, especially we did the Korgem one. Remembered we worked a lot with ZNS. The ZNS, they had a band. What's the name of the ZNS band? They did some famous songs. I've just forgotten. That was Air Power Zaf. No, but that was a ZNS band. I've just forgotten what the name of the band was. So they had equipment. So we found ourselves able to get their keyboard because they had this cutting edge keyboard. See where they just buy stuff. So there was a Keno who really liked us. Keno Mwambazi, great man. So he liked us so much that you guys are so talented. Yeah, so we got the keyboard. So we used to use that keyboard. We could program it. And then we also had the keyboard from Amayenge. So we'd always have keyboards. So we practiced. And after practicing, we said, okay, we'll become jazz players. So we started playing jazz, like kind of what Big Ball Six bands would do at interns, but we started playing jazz, and we got a gig at a restaurant way out there on Kafira Road, just where Cosmopolitan used to do. There used to be a restaurant called Golden Bull or something, with owned by Mr. Kamana. So they had a Kamuzungu manager there, a lovely lady called Trish, and so they were the first people that hired us. So we used to go there every, I think, Friday and Saturday, set up. My brother would be on the sax, and then I'll play the keyboard on the cling. Oh, it's so cool. And we even bought my glasses and just put suits and ties to my youngsters, but really looking the part. In those days, I really had a lot of hair, so I had a very interesting perm, like up to there. There are some pictures, you'll find them. And then later on, I did the dreads now. And then I had the ponytail, so the ponytail all the way to my back. Very eccentric. So that's, I've got pictures for that. So that's how we started doing that. And then later on, we incorporated a lovely sister, literally a sister to us, a lady called Angela Daka. Beautiful voice. So Angela would be the singer now. So if we wanted to do the singing part, then she'd do the vocal. My brother would do the sax, I'd do the piano. Well, that earned us some good money. And that's the time that we left for the UK. So around that period, Karachi then was able to lock us a deal in the UK, and we went to the UK. And when we went to the UK, I can tell you, we rubbed shoulders with people like Jazzy B, Maxi priest. Now, when I say rubbing shoulders, it means you get in the same room with this person, right? Not necessarily talking to them, but like, oh, that's Maxi priest. and so in that era, we were able to work. And the one that really took us in, I can tell you, Kawaja took us to the UK, but it's Anna Mwale that kind of like helped us through that era. And then her brother, Uncle K, K Mwale. These really became our people. And it's in that time that I now got to meet the Lord.